All right, so we start March of year 3 in this Fire Promoter game. Quick reset, go through everything. I don't need to save, I just loaded it. That's how we're looking at this point. We had one match, I think it was a strong match, but it didn't seem to change the percentage, or if it did, it already flipped back and I didn't notice. I like how we have the same popularity as WWE. We have like 4.5 million. They're sitting on 103 plus. It's almost like waiting for like the half-life to wear off for some of the wrestlers to get released that are looking for 30 grand in salary. My top guy's below 3,000. Although maybe we'll see how this whole spat of renegotiations goes. See, I have New Japan's Heavyweight Championship, but I guess they have the rest of their belts activated. I like how ECW is big in Japan. Bigger in Latin America than America? That probably has something to do with whatever the original setting was on the 9-company Fire Promoter mode. Whichever one that filled, that was the number 6 out of 9, or out of 8, I guess. That doesn't count my own company. Point being, I don't think that's something I can change or that can be edited, but I could be wrong. And if not, then perhaps a mod will come along that will allow it. I don't know. I almost wish there could be a secondary choice for the promotion style. Because, I mean, again, this is not a true simulation, but AAA would be much more lucha over hardcore. It's just I didn't want to have both of the companies in Mexico with the exact same promotion style. Lucha. I'm doing them a favor. They could use the boost. Bigger in Japan than anywhere else. But only 5 wrestlers on the roster. That's where I don't understand with this game. Like, if I would have set it up initially where Aero Lucha had 10 wrestlers, would they stay at that spot? Would they go bankrupt because it's too much money for a small company to have? I just don't know. Go through and take a look at the conditions of these guys. Okay, so T-Hawk is out. And that's it. So that's 18 wrestlers that are healthy. Although I'm going to be sending one of them over to Aero Lucha for this tournament. I'm not going to send a champion because I don't want to take a chance on something squirrely happening and my guy losing the belt. And Aero Lucha just holding on to it. They have as many belts as wrestlers. So yeah, like Mysterio is the heavyweight champ and the heavyweight tag champ, which, I mean, to be fair, that's the case with my company as well. The Omega and Jericho winning the tag team championship on the last show. It irks me somewhat. I know it bothers people even more than me. The belts. If you go through and customize that and set up which belt you wanted to wear, like, it's strange to see like the big gold belt for the UWFI heavyweight. Although in the grand scheme of things, it's a minor detail. But it's a detail that people that care enough to pay $20 for a DLC are going to tend to care about more than your average customer, I would think. But this is already a niche audience to begin with. Although I'm glad so many people have been able to experience Fire Pro for the first time through this. This is all frozen from before, but what I was talking about earlier, the title belts. Notice there in the bottom right, at number 7, that was the end of year 2, and that was already with me having the belts from New Japan and ECW. So my scout wasn't able to, neither of the scouts that came in were able to help me with anything. Although first I'm going to go ahead and do the money thing with some of these guys. Okay, this is not the screen for that, apparently. You have to go to management. And then it's not management. You got to go to human resources. Like corporate red tape just to get to the screen I want. And it's not negotiation, it's consultation. Well, with the money I'm making, it's not going to hurt to... Well, he's already sitting on an S Trust. I can't remember, actually, if I upped Goldberg recently. Move you to 2000. Or B in popularity, so you won't entirely hate me, Flyer. You're not getting any more money, Yoshihashi. Forget about it. Walk out of me before that happens. Dr. Death gets a little bit of a bump up in money. I'll give Awesome a slight raise. Just got out of the hospital. A little walking around money. I'll give you a little more money there, Yilong. Okay, I guess I'll bump Cody up a little bit. He has been around since the beginning. Ambrose just got a pay boost because he remains my high watermark salary wise with the 2,640. I'll get you to 2,000 and change there, Pac, or blank, because of the short name not existing for this creator wrestler of Neville/Pac. Was Jericho only making 1,300? All right. bump him all the way up. That guy's been my top star through my first 2 years. We'll see how year 3 goes. But he just won the tag team championship. Same with Omega. Okay, offering a contract. I'm getting CM Punk for $4,300 or $4,320. More still than I would want to pay because I don't want to throw off the pay scale. I find where Nick Jackson is. He's stuck like in All Japan or something? Well, I bet you I know what happened. Nick Jackson might not have been removed from the, it's like you put a certain pool of free agents into the game and only takes a certain number of those free agents and makes them available initially. Could be Nick Jackson still in the queue waiting to have his number come up. Like how Pillman showed up when I finally had one of my scouts do something of value for the first time in this game. Let's see what Riddle is price-wise. This is another way this game differentiates from real life. In real life, Matt Riddle's like, you use your number 1 overall pick, you build a company around this guy. Like what it looked like was going to happen with MLW before NXT decided to bring a Riddle on board. Liger's still way too expensive. Sawa still wants 10 grand. Hey, you know, that's... As much as there's some dream matches that can be made, I think business-wise, you can always go with Iwamoto. He is a junior heavyweight, and I've been needing to add junior heavyweights. Could try again with Pillman. Well, he turned me down last time, though. I don't want to risk on the same person back to back unless that's some sort of good feeling or a tip that I should do that. He already works the Kings Road style. Goto, that's the pickup right there. I think I tried to give him a contract one time and he said no, but then I brought him in as an invite. Let's see. See if we can get Goto. You get 20 grand. Hiroki Goto. So that's not going to work. We remain at 19 on the roster. I'll need to invite one because I'm about to send somebody over in a tournament with Aero Lucha. I'm not looking for a cross promotion. Okay, so Aero Lucha's got a tournament going on. But I'm not sure if it's a heavyweight or junior heavyweight tournament. You would think they would notify you if there were certain guys that weren't eligible, but I don't know that I can necessarily just take that for granted. Definitely not sending over anybody with a belt. can send him Shima. He's in good condition. He's got the orange neck brace there. Acting like we're doing them a favor. Or the other way around, that they're the ones that are doing a favor for us. Okay. Okay, if you try it alone, you can't do it a second time. I don't think. Or maybe that's just the menu screen to get to the... But that takes him out of the mix for me, I think. Or maybe not. What if I send him Flyer? Okay. And as I understand it with this game, that whole decision process is a random thing that people have done the whole, auto kill when it doesn't turn out their way and then reload the game and try again and it's worked. All right, so I do need to get one invite, at least. I could go with 3. So I got 19 guys total on the roster. 1 is injured. 1 is going to be in the tournament for Aero Lucha. $25,000 to invite Psycho Clown. Let me back up here. Too bad Nitro's a heavyweight. I mean, he would be an obvious pick if I could go out and get a... And I might still go after him with the contract if my scouts are as ineffective as they were. The 2 guys coming back with nothing to begin this month. Okay, I mean, it's like if I book Alberto and he no-shows, that's on me, right? I hope we see Psycho Clown in the real life AEW. If the working arrangement set up with AAA Lucha Libre. All right, $25,000. Let's give it a try. Come on, Clown. All right, so we have Psycho Clown for 1 show. And that gets us to an even number of healthy wrestlers that are able to work the show. It would be really nice if they came up with a repair all button. They just set the 2 scouts that watched it a 3 because there's one from last month. Of course, I'm going to go Kings Road. You're the one scout that actually likes that. We'll stagger it a little bit. Strong or showman? Yeah, I'll stick with strong. I mean, I could tell him no Kings Road, but like I would imagine Takahiro would be less effective going after a Kings Road wrestler than someone who actually prefers Kings Road. Marty Sakota. Is that name supposed to be like a joke? Shin Baito? Well, I hope you send 3 of them. Certainly paid to send out 3. Tell me you sent out a scout, singular. Right. All right. So everything sold out last show, with the exception of t-shirts, and I had ordered 10,000 of them. So that's more than 6,500 t-shirts I sold, along with everything else I had merch-wise. Yeah, I do a wide variety of sports. Football is my favorite to call, and that's in the fall. My Friday nights are taken up because I do play-by-play for Father Ryan High School, which is also where I went to high school, back when I played. So that's a lot of fun. I did some Nashville SC soccer broadcasts 2 years ago, which was a lot of fun. I don't know the sport well enough to where there would be any need for them to bring me in once they reach this level. I got John Freeman, who is outstanding on play-by-play. I mean, I could work at it for another 20 years and not be as smooth as he is with a delivery. Just boom, boom, boom. He knows it's great. So it was cool to get to work with him. Did a high school baseball game last year. High school senior he was going to go to Vanderbilt, and that's where the game was, where I called it from. He ended up being drafted by the Padres. Getting a large guaranteed amount of money to get him to go pro instead of playing at Vandy. So that's a long way of saying yes. I mean, there's some sports I've never called, and I don't know how that would go, like hockey. I was a field producer back in 2008 for the NHL network for Pete Weber, who at the time was the television, and he still does TV and radio, but at the time the television play-by-play for the Nashville Predators hockey team, the NHL team. And from way up at the top of the arena, there at Bridgestone Arena, whatever it was called back then, what's now Bridgestone Arena, he's able to just see this puck moving around from up high, and I'm trying to follow the action, figure out who's on the ice, and he's on top of it. Point is, it impressed me to see somebody that good at it in action calling a hockey game. Okay, the towels. Go 5,000 on the towels. I'll try 3,000 on the photo collection. 3,000 on the DVDs. The goods, I remember having trouble unloading. Like it had reached a point of like 2 months where the number had turned red. So we'll go with a 1,000 quantity with that. Let's see how that does. And really it is better to go and set up the card and then go through this, but I've already started, so I'm going to finish it up. The high cost with the masks, I'll still play that one conservative. I could probably sell more than 1,000 branded snacks, but they expire if you don't sell them at the event, so I'll go low on that as well. And that's where it gets confusing when the game tells you that such and such is having a tournament. You might think it's a tournament you would host with saying recommended there, but that's not it. Well, I think this is going to be my first 9-match show. I have 18 wrestlers in total that I can use. My roster's at 19. I've got one guy who's injured or in poor condition or whatever. And then there's Flyer, who I sent over to Aero Lucha for their tournament. And that took me down to 17. But then bumped back up to 18. Let me pull this up. Yeah, Psycho Clown. Okay. Psycho, I was afraid for a second that I'd perhaps forgotten or misread one of those invites that I thought was a no-go. So we got Psycho Clown. Main event. We're not going to have a tag title match on this show because we're going to have Kenny Omega in the main event defending the heavyweight championship. Taking on Bill Goldberg. So there's Omega defending the title. Challenger Bill Goldberg. Okay, I'm going to go through here and look at the popularity. Always try to keep the more popular wrestlers toward the top of the card. So there's Cedric Alexander as an A. And I'll probably have him in a non-title match against a heavyweight. I don't think I've got any other junior heavyweights that are at A popularity, with the exception of maybe Pac. Although I'm not for sure. No, he's an S. Okay, maybe that's the move. I mean, I've had those two wrestle a lot, but they've been really good matches. You know that Pac Neville doesn't have the tag team championship to have to worry about. That actually would work out well. And it would make sense to have Cedric Alexander defend on this show. That way, one, I have a pair of championship matches, not just one. Or then two, because he was in a non-title match against Brian Pillman last month. It'd be nice to have him defend the title from time to time. And Shima just challenged unsuccessfully. Yilong's a C on popularity. And T-Hawk's in poor condition. So guess what? Okay. Making sure they had different gear. So Wyndham is an A. Dr. Death. Mike Awesome's back. Also an A. Terry Gordy. And of course, Jericho is an S. Jericho, one half of the AEW Heavyweight Tag Champions and also the ECW Heavyweight Champion, but not having him defend that title here. Look at that popularity difference. I guess I don't have to worry about CMLL or New Japan poaching him. Got S popularity in the US and D's everywhere else. Well, we'll have this be, these are all going to be singles matches on this show. So I'm going to attempt to do 9 matches in total for the first time. This is a non-title match. Jericho with an S. I'll put him against one of the guys with the A rating. Psycho Clown's a B. May do Walter versus Psycho Clown. That may be on the card. This would be a rematch if I did Jericho versus Terry Gordy. In November, Gordy beat Jericho to win the AEW Heavyweight Championship. And then Gordy promptly lost it the next month to Kenny Omega. So that match actually makes sense in this spot. A grudge match, if you will. We'll put Terry Gordy in red. So, okay. I'm going to do Walter versus Psycho Clown once I get through the guys with the A popularity, unless I change my mind. You got Wyndham. You got Dr. Death. You got Mike Awesome. And then, of course, there's Dean Ambrose with an S. So I really should get Ambrose on here. He just lost the tag team championship. And really, I could do Jericho versus Ambrose. Got to think about this one for a minute. I would think I would have had to have done that matchup at some point. I'm looking through the notes here. He wrestled Shima, he wrestled Goldberg, wrestled Walter. La Sombra, the one time Sombra actually showed up. And Omega put him over. Okay, yeah, they did. Okay, they in March of year 2. Okay, so that would not be. Well, that was actually Omega and Ambrose, though. So I'm really looking more for Jericho and Ambrose. That would be really surprising for me to not book a singles match between. Almost feels like it would be a waste to do that match now. You know, not even in the semi-main spot. Not even in the second from the top spot. I guess it would be second from the top if I were to consolidate and bump Gordy out. I'll probably have Jericho face the winner of the heavyweight championship match. But they just had the tag team championship switch. And ultimately, the game doesn't really keep track of this sort of thing. This is not Total Extreme Wrestling. Go through and free up Ambrose there. Okay, well maybe I should think things. Okay, Omega is in the main event against Goldberg. Ambrose and Jericho will follow, or be followed by Neville and Cedric. I mean, I could easily switch the semi-main and main, but that's... I don't know, Cedric's been pretty consistent for me. I could always bill it as a Jericho Ambrose winner as the number one contender, but that's probably going to be Jericho, even if he loses. But part of that depends on who's healthy in a given month, too. Don't start planning things out too far ahead of time. It'd be kind of weird to have the tag team champions facing each other for the heavyweight championship. We'll see if that becomes a problem I have to deal with. Okay, so I believe that has exhausted the S's on my roster, the S popularity. So between Gordy, Awesome, Dr. Death, Barry Windham. How did Yoshi... I guess Yoshihashi getting that win. The butterfly neck lock is over in the U.S. up to a B. Probably doesn't hurt that he's working with a hot promotion, though. Okay, a B for Walter. And a B for Gran Guerrero. I'm going to do Walter versus Psycho Clown, but not yet. So we got Williams and Gordy. Mike Awesome. And Barry Windham. Those are the four. A popularity, they're healthy, they're not yet booked. I did Windham versus Awesome in December, so I don't want to repeat that. Okay, so yeah, Mike Awesome came in. I think I booked him as a... No, it was like his first night in the company. He won the championship. That's where Jericho ended up losing the championship to Awesome. So I don't want to do Williams and Gordy against each other if I can help it here. And on top of that, I don't want to do Williams versus Windham. So that pretty much leaves Williams and Awesome here, and then Gordy versus Windham. Bam Bam Gordy hasn't been in the territory very long, so I don't think they've had a match before. It's okay. Mike Awesome. It's Dr. Death. I'll give him the Oklahoma Sooners style amateur singlet with that white part on the front that you just have to pretend that says OU. Boomer Sooner. And so we'll go with the final two guys with the A-level popularity. Terry Gordy against Barry Windham. Now we're to the fourth match on the card. This, I think, is where we're going to do Psycho Clown listed as a strong. Do I have anybody that's not already booked? I probably should have thought this through a little better. But I don't know that I have somebody that's listed as strong. I think I did, but it's like what happens to people that work for WWE after a while. That their way of thinking becomes the company's way of thinking. Although I'm sure that's not anything that's unique to WWE. Plenty of corporate environments are like that. Yeah, Malenko here is the New Japan Heavyweight Champion, but more just a prop than anything at this point. Had to die for the cough button. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. Walter versus Psycho Clown. Stacking to be quite the lineup here. It's nice when you have most of your roster healthy. Not to jinx it. Say that and 6 guys will get hurt. Alright. Brandon, Yoshihashi, and Malenko are all B. T-Hawk's my lone poor condition wrestler on this show. Yilong is a C. Shima's a B. Cody's a B. Well, Malenko is a champion, so I'll give him top billing over the other level B guys. With the exception of Walter. Because the novelty of him versus Psycho Clown. I think that's a better spot for it. I'm not sure the last time if I've seen any sort of Cody versus Malenko match on here. Let me look. No, okay, they didn't have a match. Malenko beat him back in August. We'll do Malenko versus Shima. That'd be a good match. 2 more spots to fill. Yoshihashi. Hello. MP3 player now, what's up? Got Yoshihashi's a B popularity. T-Hawk is injured, or close to it. Gotta be Cody Rhodes against Yoshihashi. Don't get a chance to try out the tag team match in the opener with a 30-minute time limit to see if it does that weird glitch out thing like it did the last couple of months. I know it's not the most convincing CAW, to be sure. When I was putting this Fire Promoter setup together, I was trying to rush it as quick as I could, but where it still made sense, because once you start the game, you can't go back through and edit or add things or change things. So yeah, I wasn't able to look for a more realistic Cody. Okay, so the card is set. I'm going to go through and check the match style and rules. It should be King's Road for all 9 matches and 30-minute time limits until the main event. Making sure I didn't misread that one. You can tell it's the first time I've run a 9-match show with it still sitting on unlimited for time. All right, there are the match time and rules that we want. They're all King's Road. It's not the toughest count to make. Let's go ahead and confirm the match card. Oh, I should have gone through and actually looked at the arena before that. Well, hopefully I'll still draw 40,000 doing it the same way I did last month. All right, we're going to go ahead and proceed here. Oh, Psycho Clown not working the show. So much for 9 matches. I don't have WWE 2K19. I haven't played that series in a few years. It got to the point where I didn't enjoy it that much anymore. And I still have like WWE 13, the one with CM Punk on the cover. I think that was the one. Had a lot of fun with that one on the PS3. And you could still, with the PS3, you could assign MP3 theme songs. You could put your own music in. Like I took out Brian Pillman, that awful generic music they'd given him way back when, if that is his old theme music, and I replaced it with Mind Games by John Lennon. It actually worked really well. But on the PS4, you can't do the stuff with the MP3s, and it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's like you're buying the game, then you're buying the add-ons. And I say that playing a game that has a $20 DLC that I'm playing. I realize that, but the difference is Fire Pro's not going to hit me up every year for this. So the 8 matches in total. Still a full house, though. So I will gladly take that. I didn't need to save it there, but I did. I presume they just keep the money that if they no-show on you, you just don't get your money back. Okay, I'm going to be skipping some of these matches. The stretch muffler is an effective move for Gran Guerrero in this game. He's beaten several guys with it. Gets a submission win, 92%, so a more realistic opener than the decisive win in a 30-minute time limit match that says it goes 30 minutes. That doesn't make any sense, I know. That's the way they did it. I will pass on Cody versus Yoshihashi. Yeah, I had Fire Pro Returns on the PS2, and then I still have it, the disc version. And then the PS3 came with a digital version. Yoshihashi beats Cody Rhodes. Yeah, Fire Pro Returns was a lot of fun. But there were things like the 500 wrestler limit, or just like the hoops you had to jump through to get downloaded wrestlers onto your memory card. It was quite the chore. So I've loved having Fire Pro World. I mean, I've got it on my PS4, but I don't play it on there as much because I find the PC to be a much preferable experience, in large part because of the mods. But that Steam Workshop's got just so many great creations. I know there are good ones in the PS4 store as well. But like with the PS4, it felt like to me like matches took longer to load. And granted, my computer, I've got 16 gigabytes of memory in here. So it's able to handle things that perhaps the PS4 can't. I don't know how that works, though. I could be completely off base. All right, so we'll do Malenko against Shima. Oh, I didn't mean to watch the match. Due to time constraints, we'll move ahead in our action here. Skip the match. You see like it's on fast forward. So Shima gets the win. Malenko has been reeling. And a 100% match rating to go with it. That'll work. Buffalo Sleeper. Is that a real move name? Next up's going to be Terry Gordy against Barry Windham. Definitely feels like a Crockett era NWA match, or maybe something on a early 90s WCW Clash of the Champions. I got 9 matches to get through though, so let's skip this one. Barry Windham gets the victory and a 100% match rating. So Terry Gordy, after winning the heavyweight championship, has lost 3 matches in a row. My company is AEW. That's the name of the save as well. The night it came out, I did my best to set it up and then to go through and rename some menus. And my WCW menu became my AEW menu just so the names would match up. I started with guys that are likely to either be in All Elite Wrestling or that are. I think I picked up Ambrose as the 7th guy as a free agent. I think so. I don't remember offhand. All right. Mike Awesome against Dr. Death. First time ever for me in this game. Those two were on the same show that I went to, the MLW show I mentioned earlier today in Orlando in May of 2003. I mean, they didn't fight against each other. Williams was in a tag match. I got to see Mike Awesome versus Masato Tanaka. So we'll watch this match. Red and white singlet's a bit much. Definitely don't want to pick that outfit for him if you've got like a red background. Like if my entire mat had the same color that the logo in the middle for Burning Hammer has, that red, it would That wouldn't look so good. Yeah, it's a little bit more like Awesome than that Cody creator wrestler looked like. Cody. Like, if you could have had UWF champion Steve Williams against like ECW champion era Mike Awesome, that would have been one heck of a match. It's part of the fun of this game, I suppose. I mean, neither of these two are with us anymore, so at least they're video games. But it's a lot of fun to watch this Mike Awesome CAW against smaller opponents. Just because his clotheslines flip him around. He had Jericho reeling. Big splash off the top. I'm going to say Williams needs to mount some kind of response. That's one way to respond. Been Ambrose in half. Crowd's getting into this. I like how the referee slowly counted as Awesome just punching away with impunity. Oh, hey, a kendo stick. You got a slow 5 count for that, too. I think that was his gimmick. I think it was a gladiator. It was like FMW? Does that sound right? belly to belly on the floor. That seems like a strange celebration for Dr. Death. Oh, the clean victory. Now he's really excited. Steve Williams the winner. And that was a fun match. I mean, 98% when you didn't go 14 minutes. That's a nice evaluation to get. They got another minute and a half. Bet you they would have had 100. As I've noted before, the user interface on here leaves something to be desired. But it's not impossible. I mean, look, when I first played Fire Pro, I was having to navigate menus that had Japanese writing. And not that you could translate to English. You could look online that somebody wrote on like Rec Sports Pro Wrestling, or maybe a video game page of some sort. I don't know if Game FAQs was back that far. Something similar to that, to try and just find a translation of what the menus say. So I can deal with a little bit of cumbersome stuff that's in a language that I can read. 96% card rating at this point, and that should hold pretty steady here. I mean, you got Goldberg in the main event. Sometimes his matches go short, but I mean, we're way ahead of any sort of requirements to have a great show at this point. So, saying that, I'll make sure I save it. So it's been a long build for this match. I almost feel bad putting it here the way I did, but that's just the way it worked out. I watched Chris Jericho's interview on the Rich Eisen show on YouTube. I forget, maybe a week ago. Very impressive. Jericho, he's got such a wider range of interests and projects. He's able to plug a lot of stuff without going over the top about anything in particular. But part of the value for bringing him in is that he can get access to those kinds of shows and be able to mention AEW. He didn't have to do any sort of hard push at this point, but that builds the name recognition. I mean, Jericho's been around the wrestling business for a long, long time, but he's still very well liked. He knows how to keep reinventing himself. Dirty deeds and a Jericho no-sell, like Ambrose on a modern-day Raw. This is definitely the New Japan Pro Wrestling version of Jericho here with not just his outfit, but propensity for grabbing weapons. I'm going to be interested to see what Jericho and Omega are able to do for their match at Double or Nothing. They had that, wild brawl type match in New Japan. Jericho is very good about not just repeating stuff from the past. That's why he's avoided what a lot of veterans in the wrestling business were they get brought back to WWE so they can relive their gimmick, even when it's something like Jeff Jarrett, where he had all the success outside of WWF at the time. Had to bring back the stuff from 2 decades ago. There's Dirty Deeds again. That's twice in 6 minutes with a finisher. What's up with that? I like that. Ambrose ducking the enziguri. As opposed to that one, it just kind of happened in front of him. Well, they're going to take it to the outside.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
I was say, that crowd was dead.
14,
Are they going to do a double count out?
16, 17, 18.
It's like one of those New Japan matches where it's 19 and they both scramble for the ring. I guess the 3rd time he's hit his finisher. At this point, it's not a finisher. That is so strange that Ambrose, it's 4 times now, unless he's got just, in that particular creator wrestler, a DDT that's not the Dirty Deeds DDT, although it looks like it was, so I don't know.
10 minutes left.
And I'm not talking about like reversing a Northern Light suplex into a DDT, but like the double arm, whatever that you would describe the Dirty Deeds as. Ambrose gets the submission victory. Now I've got to rethink the possibility of Chris Jericho getting a heavyweight championship shot against the winner of the main event. Nice win for Ambrose. And it wasn't the best match for either guy. But luckily that sort of thing can be evened out over the course of 8 matches like we have. So it didn't help our average card rating, but it still holds pretty steady at 93%. Got to scroll down and scroll up to find what I need. Maybe in hindsight it was a blessing I didn't put Jericho versus Ambrose on later in the show. I'm not sure if that makes a difference, the order of the show. Done this match a few times, but really these are the top 2 junior heavyweights I got. And they've had good matches before, so it's like I've seen American Alpha versus the Revival 3 times. And if Jason Jordan ever got healthy, I'd be glad to see him again. Just some matchups work really well. This is one of them. I'm going to go off headset here for just a minute. So you got Pac breaking out the flips. Pac going for the submission. 7.5 minutes into the match. That'll do it, a critical. Cedric Alexander, in under 9 minutes, retains the AEW Junior Heavyweight Championship. Cedric has had a long and successful run as champion, and that continues. The knockout. Pac sent packing. Alexander, he's already up to an A in popularity on a show with 40,000 people capacity, a turnaway crowd. You got 87 match evaluation as well. So down to 92%, but still should be fine, even if this Goldberg match does what a lot of Goldberg matches on here do and runs short. So this is the rubber match in their feud. The first match they had, Omega beat Goldberg with an Okite Yaburi, the big red phrase that pops up on the screen that basically translates to either ultimate disrespect or stolen finisher. It's really more the stolen finisher variety with that particular phrase in this game. And it was Omega hitting Goldberg with a jackhammer for the win. So they had a rematch. Goldberg won with a jackhammer. So 2 matches and 2 finishes with a jackhammer for the 2 guys in the main event. The challenger, Bill Goldberg, and the champion, AEW Heavyweight Champion, Kenny Omega. And this is going to be my last month of the night. Ends up taking up a lot more time than I realized. Just going, I'd be playing the game anyway, so it's not like it's a problem to broadcast it. Their first match of this 3-match series with Omega beating Goldberg with a jackhammer. That was in May of year 1. Then they didn't face again. Dot, dot, dot as I wait for the scrolling thing to work here. August. I was looking for Omega's name in the front line, but it wasn't there because Goldberg won that match. That was August of year 2. So here in March of year 3, the 3rd meeting in Fire Promoter between Omega and Goldberg. Omega, the current AEW Heavyweight Champion and one half of the AEW Tag Team Champions. Goldberg is a former AEW Heavyweight Champion, although his first 2 matches against Omega were both non-title matches. Omega's going to have to change his strategy a bit. He's trying to go strength for strength, move for move with Goldberg, end up getting speared. And that's really the opposite of what Omega needs to be doing. Body slam will buy him a moment to breathe.
1.
Now that's more like it. Although Goldberg's still so strong, he can block it. Omega dazed, and that won't help the situation any. For the championship. Omega with a brainbuster vertical suplex. Goldberg is just not letting up, absolutely relentless. And this is Omega at his best, that running move. Drop kick to the back of Goldberg. Omega finally getting a sequence going together on offense. Goldberg with the near fall. The crowd didn't really buy into it, but the champion is in trouble. Think about this title reign for Omega, beating Terry Gordy for the championship, beating Gordy in a rematch, winning the tag team championship from Ambrose and Pac, teaming up with Chris Jericho, and now defending the heavyweight singles championship against Bill Goldberg. Another spear, another pinfall attempt. That's Omega being crafty, taking advantage of Goldberg's own momentum. Let him go flying. The jackhammer. They're close to the ropes. Powerbomb. And that got the crowd going. Goldberg didn't miss on the spear that time, though. That close to having a new champion. Another spear. And that'll do it. We got a new champion. Bill Goldberg. Just relentless. And the spear gives him the win. 13 minutes, 47 seconds. And it's an 83% match evaluation. New champion crowned. That's the wording they use in this game. So, it's so weird how the first show, or the first match in the show has the win and lose different than every other. Or maybe that's just coincidence from before. Whatever the case, Goldberg wins the heavyweight championship in front of a turn-away crowd of 40,000. And thanks in large part to a strong undercard. Average card rating ends up at 91%. Go ahead and end the event in March of year 3. As you just saw, Goldberg beat Omega to win the AEW Heavyweight Championship. That turned out well, especially considering I botched the setup for the attendance, like how big of a venue we were going to run. I didn't change it from the time before. I had a no-show, and it's, I guess, good I had some extra padding because still ended up with nearly 5,000 denied entry. Oh, Flyer got their belt. Flyer got their heavyweight belt. Oh, just stole a belt from Arrow Lucha. So, a $500,000 plus earned, and another title belt poached. I consider that a good month. AEW crosses the $5 million mark asset-wise as we go into the 28th month of this game. Tag team tournament with WWE, so I'll be sending over a tag team. Might send Ambrose and Pac, depending on how their health is. So we're going to April. And this is as far as I'm going to go tonight. Oh, imagine that. Scout can't find anybody worth signing, huh? Oh. Are you even trying? Gordy, you've lost 3 in a row, brother. But I'll probably still give him a raise. We'll see. So before I end the feed, go through the quick rundown. I mean, the company's to be up to 6 title belts, as you can see. If I can finally actually sign another couple of junior heavyweights. Maybe some tag team championship gold up in here. WWE gobbling up the strong style. Who knew? So I guess there's no heat from Aero Lucha for me taking their heavyweight championship. Well, let's look at our belts, shall we? So Goldberg had the title, and Jericho beat him and then defended it successfully 6 times in a row. Until Mike Awesome cleaned his clock. Then he got the win right back from Awesome after Awesome had 1 defense. Then we got a little bit of hot shotting. First defense, loss. Gordy wins it. First defense, loss. Omega wins. Then Omega defends the title successfully in a rematch against Gordy until losing to Goldberg. May do a Goldberg title defense on the next show. I'll have to take a look at the health of everybody. I'll probably keep this recording while I do that because I'm going to do it either way, so might as well bring you along for the ride. Okay, that's old information. The advice is not actually helpful from what I found. Not going to do anything with the contracts at this point. This is really more for next week anyway, so I'm not going to fiddle with it. Okay, I got one guy coming back in a month. At least that's the guy that knows or likes King's Road style. Maybe you can find somebody else here in the United States that's willing to come on board. Preferably a junior heavyweight. And some of the menuing stuff, like return and okay. When to return. Not going to do any financial consultation right now. Let me see where Gordy's sitting at. Trust. Okay. So he still has an S trust-wise with me. He's only making $15.59. Well, I'll worry about that for April. Do want to go through and take a look health-wise. Okay, so he's my champ. And he's got normal conditioning aside from his orangish, reddish neck in the medical diagram. Gran Guerrero is off the next card. Poor condition. Cedric deserves a break. Guy's been getting after it. Yoshihashi in poor condition. Up to a B in popularity. Goofy guy's going to finally get over yet. Who knew? He's lucky I'm so limited on being able to sign people. Wind him up to an S. Whereas Malenko, still a B popularity. He's lost a bunch, a lot more than you would think. Although it's kind of funny because he has the New Japan Heavyweight Championship, so it feels like something that would be petty and vindictive that, WWE might do. in theory. Like when they had Taz beat Mike Awesome when Mike Awesome was leaving for WCW, but Taz was working for WWF, and then he puts over the WWF champion on their TV. And it's an oh well. Buckle up, AEW. I mean, the old man is, can't make up his mind week to week, but he will still try and destroy you with everything he's got. And he's got a lot of money at his disposal. Okay. So talking about real life wrestling, lose track of what I'm doing on here. Okay, so Gran Guerrero, Cedric, Yoshihashi are off the card for condition reasons. My undercard needs a break. Yilong finally got up to C popularity. Although at that point, it's almost he's bringing me down. Now, Shima is listed as normal, but look at that. He's got a bright, orangish reddish neck, just like Goldberg. The yellow torso and the orange legs. And that's normal. I mean, probably for most pro wrestlers it is. Those guys and girls, they work through some incredible injuries. And I don't think most of the people in the general public realize that. I mean, you're working through pain all the time if you're a pro wrestler. Because if you miss a show, you lose your spot. That was the old mentality. And that's still, at least from what I've seen, is still very much in the business. Okay, Cody's out. Ambrose is good. Neville worries me with a red, but it says normal. Now, they're both S popularity, so I'd be actually helping out WWE by sending them. But maybe they'll win their tag titles. That'd be great. Jericho's my tag champ. I guess I don't really need to bother to say heavyweight tag champ because I don't have junior tag champs yet. Although even looking over the roster, I mean, it's... Yeah. I had T-Hawk and Cody when I was just desperate to pair up anybody. They made for a decent tag team. But Cody is in poor condition. Could send Williams and Gordy. That'd be fun. Well, I don't have to decide right now. I'll have to think that one over. So only 14 wrestlers in normal or good condition. Perhaps I'll have some luck with a contract and finally get somebody to sign. Maybe I'll try Pillman again. I, of course, didn't start Joe Doring in the New Japan section. I have in All Japan. But apparently he jumped ship. But he's making almost as much money as my top guy. Or actually, I think it's maybe directly the same as much as Ambrose. Just as much. And there's Sting, who was not a free agent until they found him. Then you got Naito with a $34,000 salary. And he's only a B popularity. Nice work if you can get it, pal. Meanwhile, Ibushi's just collecting belts. It's too bad he's making that much money. I would love to get 3 titles at once. Maybe he got those from somewhere else. I don't know if, because the way the belt's randomized, you can't exactly tell one from another. Maybe at some point there'll be a mod for it. I don't know. And look at the salary. Yeah, I mean, it's... And at least in video game wise, Elgin has the popularity in America over Japan. But it's WWE that's having the tag tournament. It's kind of funny with, I don't even know that's supposed to be their World Heavyweight Championship belt, with Daniel Bryan having, it looks like that green, like the, I mean, I don't watch much at all of current WWE, just very off-putting to me. But I keep up with it. I hear the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Figure 4 Online radio shows, where they go through stuff. But I've made sure to watch the Bryan Danielson stuff when they have it on TV and when it's available online. Point is that it's actually pretty, rather clever, and especially in a company where all the belts look alike. He's got one made of hemp. Who knew? Okay, there's an easier way to do this. What I'm doing. View title belts. Oh, I'd love to steal Cesaro. I was talking about underrated guys, underutilized guys earlier. He certainly fits the bill. So it's Cesaro and Mystery Partner. They've won 3 in a row. Oh yeah, Williams and Gordy. I didn't see the note until just now. Oh, I love those matches. I was talking about that just earlier on this, if not this broadcast, one of the earlier months. Yeah, Williams and Gordy against the Steiners. 1992 WCW had a lot of problems, but those guys went out there and just got after it. And that stuff holds up well today, I think, just because it had that air of realism to it. Like they weren't all cooperating. It felt like that, even if they were. I mean, that's the idea. They're putting on a show, trying to draw you in. All right, so it'll be Cesaro and someone else. Let me see what Cesaro. Not that it matters that much, because their show. All right, what am I overlooking here? Oh, right there. Oh, he's got 2 belts. Just going to try and narrow down who his tag partner was. So it's either Daniel Bryan, was actually like a Ring of Honor super team, or let's see, is our matching for that top belt, the black leather with the gold. Styles has some silver belt. Okay, so it could be Strowman. So it's Cesaro and either Daniel Bryan or Braun Strowman, depending on who is on, as they put it, Team Cesaro. But it's not like it's just WWE that's set up this way. My company's the same way. Just puts one with the wrestlers' names. Although in fairness, with the Dean Ambrose and Pac team, because the Pac created wrestler has nothing for the short name, they'd be blank anyway. Okay, well, I'll let WWE worry about its belts. And I'll probably send Williams and Gordy, because the thought of them going through and cleaning house actually sounds like great business. Almost don't want to give it to them. But maybe they're the team to send because they're at B level, and I keep my S level guys in-house for a show. Oh well, I'll have time to think about that later. So that's going to do it for the feed tonight. Tomorrow, come back with April of year 3 with Fire Promoter. And I'll talk with you all then. Thanks.